Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. World's second busiest airport, the Heathrow Airport in London, will be closed on Friday following a fire at an electric substation that supplies it with power. You can see on that screen the visuals after that electric substation caught fire. Plumes of smoke there on the screen, you can see. It is one of the busiest airports in the world, and due to this, there has been a major disruption. According to the BBC, 1,551 flights to and fro from the airport in West London would be cancelled today. And there are great implications of this fire. You can see on the screen. That's the visual, and it has really impacted the flight transportation, the flight service there at the airport, and it's impacted thousands of passengers who would be going to Heathrow or coming from Heathrow. According to the BBC, the fire at the substation has left more than 4,900 homes without power, and 150 people were evacuated from surrounding properties. Now, the cause of the fire is not yet known. To get a sense of the situation, we are joined by a group captain, Dr. MJ Augustine Vinod. Welcome to Mojo Story. Augustine, how do you make of this situation? This seems like a major disruption that's happened in Heathrow, which is obviously perhaps the busiest airport in the world.
A couple of things, Iqbal bhai. Three things that straight away comes to my mind. One is any busy airport is a kind of a money spinning organization for the
Right.
country and for the civil aviation industry of that particular country.
Right.
And most of these airports, especially busy ones, they need maintenance. So you take shutdowns periodically of a certain
Right.
section of the airport for maintenance. And
Right.
some airports that I know that they take periodic maintenance when the busy airports in India, they take it on a lean period in the afternoon. And these maintenance periods are like kind of fixed. As in,
Right.
for example, Cochin in the afternoon from 2:30 to 4:30 takes a shutdown. So in that period, they address all these issues. Now, second important point is um, in the coming maintenance, what is the maintenance activity that will be conducted is a meeting that is conducted by the airport heads of organization.
Right.
And in our case, we
Yeah.
have in some of the airports and professionals who are the head of the organization.
Right.
In some airports in some countries, it is this civilian administration who are the head of the organization, like a
Right.
civil servant.
Right.
So what happens is everyone wants maintenance.
Hmm.
So in those 2 hours, everyone says, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this, and I need this. Now,
Hmm.
prioritizing needs to be done not based on the personal rapport with the top man of the airport, but
Right.
with the operational impact it will have.
Right.
That is where I feel the maintenance of the transformer. See, transformer, for the sake of viewers, I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Transformer handles a large amount of current, the strength of the current, and large amount of
Right.
potential difference. Therefore, most of these large transformers are oil cooled, and there is oil inside a transformer.
Yes. Yes.
And that needs to be periodically changed, maintained. Otherwise, you will have these transformer bursts and transformer burning. Clearly, I mean, it is absolutely crystal clear from this fire that this particular thing either gave way, which I don't believe it did, because since transformer being a critical equipment,
Yeah.
you do something called a preventive maintenance. You don't wait for the thing to fail.
Yes.
You change it periodically based on life of the running life of the transformer.
Right.
So that is something which is failed. Point number one, Zafar bhai. Point number two is any critical equipment has a redundancy and another redundancy. For example, someone is coming on finals, trying to come to land. Is the time
Right.
suppose this had failed and there was bad visibility, touchwood, bad visibility did not exist. Otherwise, say low visibility operations are in place.
Hmm.
What will happen is it could have led to disastrous consequence,
Hmm.
for which critical systems have double, most of the time a triple power backup.
Right.
And in airport, most of the systems are critical. There is
Right.
no system which is not critical in an airport.
Right. Right.
Therefore, most airports have a electrical wiring diagram which caters for first layer of outages, second layer of outages, and the first layer of outages, some non-essential loads could be dropped, and the second layer of outages, only the essential loads could be plugged in, and rest of
Right.
the loads could come on some other power system. In India, since we got onto this busy airport bandwagon later than Heathrow,
Yeah.
our systems are much, much better.
Better.
In fact, some of the airports have 100% solar backup.
Right.
So if everything else fails, you still have
This
the
one.
sun and the battery backup that is available.
Right.
So those airports mathematically cannot fail in a million years.
Right.
But clearly, Heathrow is not such
Sure.
thing. In fact, 2010, I remember, Jafar bhai, there was a huge snow that completely stopped operation in Heathrow. Then
Heathrow.
another case when there was a drone flying over Heathrow Airport and the operations got stopped.
Right.
So I think Heathrow needs to look at
Yes.
completely overhauling
Yeah.
the administrative setup, the
Yeah.
hierarchy.
Right.
Somebody's head needs to roll. They
Yes.
have to put in the money that they are earning back
Yeah.
into the airport to bring
Right.
it in a
To
situation
raise.
where such a
Yeah.
thing doesn't happen, because it gives a
But
bad name to the country and a lot of revenue loss.
right. Augustine, you talked about backup. So it seems that there were no perfect backup systems here, because had there been a backup, that there would not have been a complete collapse as it seems has happened.
Exactly, Zafar bhai, because the era in which the Heathrow was established was, for a certain amount of energy requirement and a certain kind of technology that was available and
Right.
certain industrial practice that was in place. I'm
Right.
talking about mid 70s, early 80s. Things have moved on from there. Heathrow was handling X amount of airplane when it was established, and today it is handling something like 4x and sometimes even 10x of what it was originally designed for.
Design.
So one on top of the other came up, whereas the basic backbone didn't change much. It is like, a 70 kg human suddenly starts eating and now he has become a 300 kg human. The bone cannot,
Yeah.
support his
It will.
weight. He has to be
Yeah.
bedridden. He cannot walk
Yes.
also. So इसकी
Right.
जो backbone है, that had to, periodically grow.
Yeah.
Apparently, it didn't. That
Right.
is the main reason why such a system collapsing led to a complete collapse of the system, which is
Yeah.
absolutely in today's agent stage
Yeah.
is not only disastrous, it is unimaginable for any airport. Some head needs to roll,
Yeah.
some professional needs to come in. They
Right.
have to look at this holistically.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things will go from bad to worse. What if
The
there was a terrorist attack?
Right, absolutely. Then it will be impossible to deal with a situation like that. The airport has in fact come out with a post on the X. It says that due to a fire at an electric substation supplying the airport, Heathrow is experiencing a significant power outage. To maintain the safety of our passengers and colleagues, Heathrow will be closed until 23
21st.
hours 59 on 21st March. Passengers are advised not to travel to the airport and should contact their airline for further information. We apologize for the inconvenience. Do you think that it's a matter of a few hours till systems will be back in place, or it will take a lot of time?
Me, actually speaking, most of the time in a critical place like Heathrow or any critical establishment, you have a standby transformer already in situ.
Yeah,
So in situ, a transformer is always there. So any fire like this, transformers do get changed. But in very critical system, you have something called a hot backup. That means anything before anything goes wrong,
hmm,
the hot backup takes over so that the complete collapse of the system doesn't happen.
right,
So this is, I mean, electrical engineering has really, had leaps and bounds of progress in last decade.
right.
And today it is, modern airports like Zaffar, modern airports like Delhi T2, they are all,
Hmm,
continuously monitored, even down to the plug level. Agar kisi plug mein, if it is only 15 amps, you cannot draw 20 amps.
uh-huh,
Something will give way.
yeah,
CB will pop up, and things like that. So, it should not be like the entire domino effect that happens and the whole thing
right,
comes crashing.
right, right. But this incident will have implications that will stretch beyond Heathrow, obviously, because uh, it's an extremely busy airport. It could be a nightmare for the authorities who are handling the situation.
Exactly, Zafar bhai, because it will have its impact felt all over the world.
Yeah,
For simple reason, say an Air India flight which was supposed to take off, like it got cancelled. That flight
right.
for the next day was planned to probably go to Adelaide or wherever.
Yes.
Even those passengers will get affected.
Yeah.
Connecting flight to that particular aeroplane, say from the
Yeah.
interiors of India. I'm just giving a small example.
Yeah.
Those people will get stranded. So a outage that is happens in a major airport, the level at which the things will subside, जो ripple effect का level है, it takes 7 to 10 days. So it has to subside. It is like throwing a huge rock in the pond. It is not the rock has hit the pond and the
Yeah.
rock has gone and
Yeah.
subsided into the pond. The
The
ripple will continue.
ripple, ripple.
The ripple
And
effect will be global.
and as you say that it's also linked to economy, it will be a major hit to the economy also, because the operations coming to a standstill means a lot.
Not only for Heathrow, for the world.
Yeah, for the world.
Wherever Heathrow connects, especially
Yeah,
the wide body aeroplane, the ripple effect will be huge. And for a wide body aeroplane like a 787, not flying for a day for the airline is lakhs of rupees that's gone.
absolutely. And I was just reading this report on the BBC. The Energy Secretary of UK said at that unprecedented event, Energy Secretary Miliband has been speaking to BBC Breakfast about the disruption. He says that National Grid is saying doing everything they can, and it's a fast-moving situation, and the government will be doing everything it can to work with Grid on the work they are doing. So they are clearly saying that it is unprecedented what has happened there. So also it will impact the railway services, because it's not just the flights, trains around Heathrow are also disrupted today, and we know that how important is the rail service in London.
True, it is a backbone of commoners in London. I mean, everyone
Yes.
travels the tube
Yeah.
in London.
Yes.
Raja ho ya Rank, they all are tube
Absolutely.
travelers.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Everybody uses a tube in London. We know that. And it's impacted homes also and all that. Uh, Now that you say that there are backups that are put in place, for some reason that maybe it's on a very large scale that this has happened, so maybe that backup will not work. But do
No, I'm
you
not
think
saying that. I'm saying they need to do an energy audit.
energy audit, right?
Yeah. They have to do energy audit. They have to look at the critical systems and they have to look at the backup for the critical systems and backup to backup for the critical system.
But I was just wondering, could there be a sabotage, or that's not a possibility? It can just be a
Even
technical
if there is
flaw.
a sabotage, all the more reason, Zaffar
Yeah,
bhai, even if there is a sabotage, and I assume it is a sabotage. Let's assume the worst. Say it is a sabotage.
yeah,
Can this lead to this kind of disruption? If it has led to this kind of disruption, that means your system is a single power driven system,
right,
which in
right.
itself speaks
Yeah,
volumes of how poorly you are designed.
absolutely. And it just shows that what can happen if there is a sabotage, and everything will just collapse. It should perhaps be a wake up call, not just for the organizers at Heathrow but world over, uh,
Yeah.
to put systems in place. But obviously, those of us who have traveled to Heathrow know how busy it is, how much crowded it is, and what a big sort of a
No, but Zafar bhai,
system.
someone has to hold them responsible. See,
Yes,
Heathrow power outage is not Heathrow power outage.
yeah,
It has costed us lakhs of rupees, maybe crores.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it must have caused so much panic to the people who have made up their plans, who are going to Heathrow, and then they're going to other places and they can't do it. It's all, the line gets broken and they don't know what to do now. The entire thing gets disrupted. Individual
So,
plans, plans on a larger level, everything gets broken.
and who's responsible for it? And
Right.
whoever is responsible for it, I mean, he should be shown the door. He or she.
Account
Yeah,
Accountability must be
accountability
fixed.
honi chahiye. Yeah.
Right. And we spoke last time about hijacking, about planes being, about possible terrorists using planes as a missile. But
Weapon.
this as a weapon. This is something that is also an important thing that must be factored in. While you were telling us that other things are being seriously looked at and improved at all levels over the years, but perhaps this particular element is one thing that needs more focus, not just at Heathrow, but everywhere, in all places, to ensure that this thing also is very important. It does not happen and it's not used by terrorists or people who want to sabotage the systems.
Exactly. See, Zafar bhai, today we have um, AI coming in a big way
Yeah,
in speedily looking at the loopholes in the system.
right.
Recently we did a power audit of one of the factory.
Yeah,
So all we did was we harnessed the power of artificial intelligence to find out what if scenarios, and the what if scenarios of two or a three failure. See, you can cater up to three failure. Beyond three levels of failure, you can't cater A, B. Three levels of failure simultaneously getting affected is a mathematical impossibility. But
right.
up to three levels of failure for a critical infrastructure like rail, like ship lanes of communication, slocks जिसको कहते हैं,
Hmm.
like air travel, all this have to have that kind of redundancy. If
Yeah,
this not there, people lose lives. Countries lose money. The amount
absolutely.
that Heathrow lost in one day today must have been the entire year's earning of maybe a small country.
Absolutely.
Someone has to be held responsible and accountable,
Abs-
isn't it?
I'm sure there would be an investigation that will be in place. Well, the focus right now will be to put the system back on track, but eventually there will be an investigation that will be done. But thanks so much, Dr. MJ Augustine Vinod, for joining us and for sharing your thoughts and making us understand what this issue is all about. And thanks to all our viewers for watching the Motor Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Motor Story and support independent, robust journalism.